What is up, guys? This is Tcg Sam here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing kind of a test hand / combo tutorial for the pureshaddoll deck profile that I recently uploaded. So if you like this type of content, do let me know by subscribing, leaving a like, commenting, sharing with your friends, all that good stuff. So yeah, let's finish shuffling up and let's just hop straight into our first test hand. For my test hand videos, I like to show 2 test hands going first and then 1 hypothetical test hand going second. So let's see how that ends up. So we're going to be going first. Our opening hand is going to be Fresh, Shaddoll, Wendy, Nibiru, Skomata, and a Mathematician. So this is going to be a perfect example of, I wanted to show you guys exactly this type of hand where you can see we have no fusion spells, we only have the singular Mathematician. We can normal summon Mathematician, activating its effect, dumping. So normally if we didn't play a card like Verte Anaconda in our extra deck, this would be a Psy, send a Wendy, set something, pass. Like, that's pretty much what it end up being. But since we play Trick Clown and our Anaconda, we can send our Trick Clown effect, special summon itself, and then turn these two into a copy of our Verte Anaconda, and then activating our Verte Anaconda's effect, paying 2,000 life points. You can send Shaddoll Fusion or El Shaddoll Fusion here. Personally, I think it's a little better to send El Shaddoll Fusion because it allows you to add it back, have the flexibility to add it back with a card like for a card like Skomata if you really want. And the other thing is here, you see we run into a problem where if we use Wendy as a fusion material, we're not going to be able to activate its effect because Verte Anaconda locks us out from special summoning for the rest of the turn. So that probably means we're going to have to end up using Nibiru and the Skomata for a card like a construct. So that's kind of a problem because we are kind of giving up our Nibiru as an extra interruption. So I'm going to show what you can do with both plays. So the first play, the first version of the play I'm going to make, I'm going to specifically send a Shaddoll Fusion to the graveyard, and then sending away my Skomata and my Nibiru to make a copy of my construct. Activating construct as Chainlink 1, Skomata as Chainlink 2. I'm going to be dumping a copy of Core, and then I'm going to be dumping a copy of Shaddoll Schism. Activating Shaddoll Schism effect, activating Shaddoll Core effect, to add back Shaddoll Schism. And then from here, that's pretty much gonna end our turn. But you can see that from our singular Mathematician with our hand that had no fusion outlets, we're able to end on the Schism, and Schism is able to summon another construct on our opponent's turn. Or if we really need to, we can banish these two to summon a copy of our Winda if we really need to as well. But most of the time, I feel like we're going to be going for a card like Shaddoll Schism, going into a card like Construct Ascent Aerial or whatever. But yeah, you can see that was not a terrible outcome. But what if we decided to save the Nibiru as an extra interruption? Like, you know that Nibiru, you're playing against a deck which Nibiru really hurts. So what would we do in that case instead? So in this case, I think it would be a little better for us to send specifically El Shaddoll Fusion, and then sending away our Skomata and our Wendy to make a copy of our El Shaddoll, Winda, and then activating Winda effect, Skomata effect to dump our Core effect will add back the El Shaddoll Fusion. So that's the thing with Anaconda. It's really important to play a card like Core because whatever you send off of the Anaconda, you can just grab it back with Core, which is really good. So we're gonna grab back our El Shaddoll Fusion, set our Resh and our El Shaddoll Fusion. Worst case scenario, if our Winda somehow gets threatened by something, we can chain El Shaddoll Fusion, turning the Winda and the Predaplant into another copy of Winda, which is really good. Or for some reason, if we find out that Winda's not good against the deck we're trying to play against, it's probably like not a combo deck, then and Nibiru will be dead anyways, and then we can turn these two into a construct and set up more of our resource games. So that's it for the first test hand, just showing the power of Verte Anaconda, how much consistency it adds to the deck. It's actually incredible how much it adds. You can see though, there are some downsides to it because it prevented me from using Shaddoll Wendy, which is one of the best cards in my deck. But you can see just using the Skomata, we were able to essentially search out whatever copy of our spells and traps that we wanted to. So yeah, that's gonna do it for test hand number 1. I'm gonna shuffle it for test hand number 2, and we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll open a fusion spell this time so we can actually do more of a standard Shaddoll combo. But anyways, we'll finish shuffling up, give it one final cut, and then we'll draw our opening 5, which is gonna be Trick Clown, Super Poly, Mathman, El Shaddoll Fusion, and Ghost Ogre. So this hand is interesting. Once again, we drew the quote brick, which actually isn't really a brick in this case, and I'll show you why. You can normal summon Mathman, obviously this is assuming our opponent has no hand traps. Mathman sending Hedgehog, adding Squamata, but I feel like they're not negating this anyways. They probably saved the Ash for a copy of Construct or something. So we're gonna add a Squamata, activate our Shaddol fusion, fusing away Squamata, Trick Clown, going into our copy of Construct. In this case, I think it's still better, just in case something you change your mind midway, to summon Construct in the extra monster zone in case you want to make a gravity controller or something. Although I feel like we're just gonna be linking off the Trick Clown anyways. But anyways, 1 Construct, 2 Trick Clown, bringing itself back. We can send a card like Wendy, and then we can send a card like Resh. So this is the play you want to do if you want to get really greedy. If you know your opponent doesn't have a hand trap, I'll show the play you can do to get if you're super greedy, although I wouldn't recommend it. You send these two. Effect of Wendy is going to summon out our Aerial face down, and I think most of you know where this is going. You turn the Construct and the Trick Clown into a copy of Cross Sheep. Activating Construct effect, you're going to add back the Shaddol fusion, and then you're going to activate our Shaddol Incarnation, banishing 2, flipping up our Aerial. Aerial brings back Cross Sheep. 1 Construct, 2 Cross Sheep. I would bring back a copy of Squamata because it's the best one you want to fuse with on the field. And then Construct can send a copy of our not our Shaddol fusion. We can send either another copy of our Resh or a Shaddol Schism, although I would probably recommend Schism because the problem with Resh is it only gives you access to Construct, but Schism gives you access to cards like Winda and Applone as well. So sending a Schism, and then from here, to be honest, I probably should have played a really just random generic Link 2 to make, which is why we have a card like Anaconda. We can turn our Cross Sheep and our Shaddol Construct into Anaconda, activating Construct effect, adding back Schism, and from here, depending on how greedy we want to get, you could hypothetically, if you wanted, go Verte Anaconda to dump your Shaddoll fusion and then fuse with your Mathman and your Squamata to make something like Shekinaga if you really want it. But I just really feel like that's just going way beyond. That's like way beyond greedy. Should be more than enough just to win. The Verte Anaconda, you may be thinking, doesn't really do anything on board, and you're right, it doesn't, but it does threaten up a very powerful follow-up. And if for some reason, if you do choose to play Dragoon in your deck, you could just make a Dragoon right here with the Verte Anaconda. You could activate, you have a Schism as an interruption to make pretty much any fusion in your extra deck. You have all the attributes you need. Super Poly to disrupt your opponent, and then Shaddol Fusion to use the guys on the board to make a card like Applone or something, banishing stuff from your opponent's graveyard. That's a really good thing about this combo. It ends you with Squamata and Aerial on the board, which means you get both of their effects when you fuse away on, which is just really good. Backtracking a little bit, I'm gonna restart the hand to where I'm gonna try to play around a card like Nibiru this time, instead not going for the really greedy play like I showed. So let's put everything back. And then we're going to try to play around Nibiru with this hand. So if we're trying to play around Nibiru, not get greedy, this is probably the play we'd make. We'd still go normal summon Mathman, send Hedgehog, add Squamata. Like, when I say not greedy, you probably, to be honest, if you really wanted to play around something that badly, you set 2 after turning this into a copy of Artemis. But, like, we're still going to try to play a fusion card on our turn. So that was 1 summon, activating Shaddol Fusion. Unfortunately, I think you do have to use up the Trick Clown. You can't. I don't really want to give up the Ogre. Sending away these 2 for our Construct in the extra monster zone. Sorry, and then I apologize. We have to use these 2. We have the Mathematician on board. That's 2 summons. We're gonna activate 1 Construct, 2 Squamata. So I'm going to be sending a copy of our. We can send a copy of our Shaddol Fusion. And we can send a copy of our Shaddoll Core, and then Core effect's gonna add back Shaddol Fusion, and then we can turn the Construct. We're gonna activate Trick Clown when we sent it, so that's gonna make 3 summons: 1 Mathematician, 2 Construct, 3 Trick Clown. 4 is gonna be Gravity Controller. Gravity Controller is gonna allow us to add add back our Shaddoll core. And I apologize, I did not mean to send El Shaddoll Fusion because we already have one in the graveyard. We can instead send a card like a Shaddoll Incarnation if we really wanted to, or we could send a Shaddoll Schism. But I would think that we'd most likely just want to send a Wendy, allowing us to set a Skomata, because core would be adding back this copy of El Shaddoll Fusion. And then with a card like core and El Shaddoll Fusion plus the Super Poly, we have 2 fusion outlets on our opponent's turn to make Apollo, Winda, Construct, whatever we want. So yeah, that's gonna do it for test hand number 2. We're gonna be going into the third test hand where we're assuming we're going second. Like I said, like this one is purely hypothetical. It's difficult to determine what our opponent is really gonna put up. We could be going against like a Dragon Link and their full combo, or we could be going against like set 1 pass or something. So we're just gonna assume our opponent ends on a card like Dragoon, because that's probably gonna be really common in this format. So let's just assume our opponent's ending on Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and a Verte Anaconda, and then let's see what we can do. So starting off, we have Aerial, Shaddoll Fusion, Driver, Core, and Super Poly. So you can see our hand is not really great. We don't have any hand traps. Drawing a card like Hedgehog is really good. This actually helps us out quite a bit. So what are we gonna do with this hand? What we can do is we start by setting our Hedgehog. I would recommend setting Hedgehog because like if you normal summon a Shaddoll monster, like your opponent knows you have Super Poly, and they might do something silly like try to Solemn Judgment or Solemn Warning your summon or something, and like you just don't want that. So just set it. Here we can activate our copy of Super Polymerization. I actually think I would rather keep the Driver in hand over the Core, just in case we decide to go for El Shaddoll Fusion play later on. The Driver acts as a light monster, while the Core is not going to help us at all break this board this turn. So we're going to do this, fusing away the Dragoon and the Hedgehog. Going into, I don't want to go into Winda because I want to keep pushing through his board to break it. So I'm going to go for a copy of Starting Gun and Fusion Dragon, and then we're going to activate our effect of Hedgehog. Hedgehog is going to add, I think we're going to be sending Skomata off of Fusion anyways, but we'll add a Skomata. I really don't think it matters. We can use it as a follow-up next turn. Of course, assuming our opponent has nothing else, we're going to activate Shaddoll Fusion, sending from our deck the Wendy and, of course, the Trick Clown. Turning those two into Construct, activating Construct Chainlink 1, Wendy Chainlink 2, Trick Clown Chainlink 3, bringing itself back, effects of Wendy and Construct. Here, I would say, if I'm trying to go for game, I would go for the greedy play where I make Aerial, summon back a Construct from the Banish Zone. So of course, like, it really depends here what you think your opponent has. Like, if you know for sure they don't have a card like Nibiru, I just go for game with a card like Access Code. But assuming we're still like trying to set up for the long game for some reason, I'll just show what we can do instead. We can set up for the long game by sending our copy of Shaddoll Fusion and El Shaddoll Fusion, and then Shaddoll Wendy is gonna set our copy of I guess Shaddoll Beastworks. And then we can go, and then we can go from here into battle phase, swing over his stuff. Main phase 2, we can link off the Construct and the Trick Clown into a copy of Cross Sheep. Construct effect, adding back L, and then from here we can activate L, fusing away the Driver and the Skomata, going into our next Construct, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3, and then we're going to be able to send whatever, we can essentially search one more spell or trap since we're going to be able to link the Construct away. We can, it's unfortunate that the Core wasn't in our deck. We had to send it to the graveyard, otherwise this would be really huge because we can send Core and whatever else we want. Personally, I'd value the Schism over here, because the rest of like, maybe if we need to send a dragon off of one of these, that's also fine. So, well, let's just say we send a dragon off of Skomata. Construct sends our Shaddoll Schism that we need, and then from here, we're gonna activate the dragon, obviously pop, and then activate Cross Sheep, bringing back one of our Shaddoll monsters. We can bring back any one of these. I'd probably bring back the Skomata, and then from here, we can also turn maybe these the cross sheep and the L into a copy of, we could go into unicorn, getting rid of the aerials. Let's just say we do that. Unicorn, spin, get rid of something. Construct effect adds back our, we can add back L Shaddoll fusion or Shaddoll schism. I'd probably add back L. The reason being, the thing with adding that schism is we have these two quote like dead. I don't want to say dead, but like dead monsters on the board that wouldn't be doing anything. I'd rather have the L Shaddoll fusion so I can get a follow up at least with Squamata and a draw with Beast if we really wanted to. And of course, like I said, this is hypothetically assuming we're putting our opponent down to nothing. That's the reason why we committed to something like this. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the test stand video. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. If you liked it, let me know by leaving a like, commenting, subscribing. It really helps me out. But with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more deck profiles for the new format coming soon, more test hands, more combo tutorials. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.